Evan Stewart has announced that after 2 seasons at Texas A&M that he'll enter the transfer portal. In this video, we will take a look at what makes Evan Stewart one of the top transfers in the transfer portal this offseason. Before we begin this video on why Evan Stewart is one of the most intriguing prospects in the transfer portal this offseason, please like and subscribe and turn on post notifications so you never miss an upload. In Evan Stewart's 2 seasons at Texas A&M, he posted a combined stat line of 91 receptions for 1,163 receiving yards and 6 receiving touchdowns. The strengths that made Evan Stewart and makes Evan Stewart one of the most intriguing prospects in the transfer portal this offseason is, first off, his speed he has really fast speed. He's a really quick guy off the line, and that's just going into one of his strengths. Is he's really great at creating separation off the line, and like I said, that speed that he has goes along with that greatly. And it goes with making great reads on his defenders. He's really good at making read at his defenders, really good at looking at defenses and just reading like, okay, I got to put on this move for this guy. This is how I'm going to get open here. He's just really good at doing that type of stuff. And he's a really good route runner as well. He's really good off the line, just getting to where he needs to be and running the route that he's supposed to run. That's, a lot of times you see a lot of guys that have an ego that are really good. They just decide, oh, I'm not going to run the route that I need to be, and they just screw up the offense. But he's a guy that even if he's going to be good, he's going to run his right route. And then another thing is he has a really good catch radius, which can help QBs have a better shot at completing contested and 50-50 catches. And that's really good. Having a good catch radius is really good. And how that happens is he has a really good he might not be the tallest wide receiver, he's not, but he's really good at getting up. He has a really nice vertical. I'm pretty sure I read this, but he was a triple jumper and a long jumper in high school, and he won the triple jump. I think it was in his junior year in Texas. He won the state. He had the best triple jump in Texas in his junior year, which is insane. That's one of the things, being a long jumper and a triple jumper that helped him to become, have a really good vert, and that helps him have that catch radius that he has. So what are some of the schools that I could see Texas A&M transfer Evan Stewart going to and landing at and actually transferring to is, the first school I'm going to bring up is Alabama. Not the best school I think that he could choose, but the first one I'll bring up is Alabama. And why Alabama could be a really good place for him is, you look at all these wide receivers that they've produced in the last few years. They're becoming one of the best wide receiver U's, I guess, and the best, colleges for producing wide receivers right now. And you look at guys in the NFL right now, like NFL wide receivers, all these guys, you got Jalen Waddle with the Dolphins, Heisman Trophy winner Devontae Smith with the Eagles, Jameson Williams with the Lions, and then you got John Mechie with the Texans. And, when you look at Alabama right now, their best guys usually are seniors when they graduate, or the guys that are transferring over are like juniors at the time, and then they become seniors and they leave. That's just how it is. So you got Jermaine Burton, who's going to be leaving, and then you got they just got Jermaine Burton, and he's going to be leaving. So that leaves, if Evan Stewart wanted to transfer to Bama, that leaves a spot for him right there. And, he'd be starting with, like, Isaiah Bond, and then you got Kobe Prescience as well. Next school I could see Evan Stewart transferring to is LSU. LSU, again, like Alabama, like LSU's been a really good place, again, for developing wide receivers, being one of those, wide receiver U's in college football. And, you got guys, again, in the NFL, like they're really good at developing NFL-ready players, like wide receivers, like Justin Jefferson, who's, really, really good, like one of the best wide receivers on the planet. And then you got Jamar Chase, who, again, is another guy that's one of the best in the planet, on earth, one of the best wide receivers on earth. And both of those guys, like I just said, they already solidified themselves as two of the best wide receivers in the NFL. And then you look at guys, like this season that LSU had with Malik Neighbors, who led the entire nation in receiving yards, and Brian Thomas Jr. with over 1,000 yards receiving. So you got two guys right there that are going to be leaving for the draft, and they had, great seasons, both respectively, and they're both going to be, decent draft picks as well. And then, you just take a look again, like from that standpoint, like from a transfer standpoint, right? You want to be somewhere where you're going to have playing time, or you're going to have, a good quarterback as a wide receiver. You're going to have, a lot of playing time, like I said. And again, Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr., they're leaving, right? So it's just a great situation, again, that a player could go out and go into and transfer into. And that's why I believe that it would be a great place for him to transfer as well. And my number one, I guess, destination or landing spot I would have for Evan Stewart is Texas. The Texas Longhorns, staying in state. Why I could really see this happening, number one, is because, it's an in-state transfer. It's not far off. And he was born and raised in Texas. So it's like, okay, he can stay in-state towards his family and his friends, and everything like that, his loved ones. That's a big thing. That's a big factor in recruiting as well sometimes with players. And, I feel like that would be great for him and his family. But then on top of that, you look again at these guys. You look at Texas, right? They're good at developing wide receivers as well. But also, they're losing Xavier Worthy, who's been really good this year, and Adonai Mitchell, who was who was really good as well. And both of those guys are heading the NFL. And again, once again, both of those guys are leaving. And Evan Stewart could be a guy that'd be the wide receiver 1 next year pretty much for Texas. And he'd be able to stay in state. And, you got a decent QB with, Arch Manning. And that'd be insane. That'd be a big thing. And, I could really see that because, like I said, he'd be staying in state. He wouldn't have to be going that far, really. And, you'd just be playing for another great university in Texas. And, he'd have a really good shot at being that wide receiver number 1 and paving the way for himself to be one of the best wide receivers in college football next season. And that is why I believe Evan Stewart is one of the most intriguing players in the transfer portal this offseason. If you like this video, like it, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you never miss an upload.